Hello, everybody who's on. Thanks for coming. We'll get started here soon. Okay, are you ready?
You were so close. You couldn't have just baked for 16 more days. Oh, we're live streaming?
Oh, yeah. We're live streaming, baby.
I'm on TV.
Yeah, we got like 300 people online right now. So thank you for that made it here. You know, you guys are the real ones. How's it going? Good seeing you guys. Okay, I think we will. What's up, Jordan? So we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm Keagan. We've got a couple of you here, and then this is Ellie, and Ellie is my preferred lender. She's awesome. Some of you worked with her in the past. So Ellie's going to start off talking about investments and how to leverage money that way. There's some new programs that are pretty exciting that they've come out with that First Colony has access to. And then I'm going to be talking about more of what I call velocity banking, but I'll dive into that a little bit more. So take it away, Ellie.
So yeah, like he said, my name is Ellie Olivier. Bear with me on this. For some reason, when I get in front of people, my brain wants to go 900 miles faster than my mouth. So if I'm stumbling over words, just know I do know what I'm talking about. So just hang in there. So I am a loan officer with First Colony Mortgage. I have been with them for almost 9 years. I would say 6 or 7 of those years, I've had the opportunity to work with Edge Homes. So I'm really excited to be here and be able to present with Keagan. The first thing I want to talk about are, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Why does this make me so nervous? I feel like I need to be holding the puppy and like letting him love on me. The first thing I want to talk about are just 2 things that I feel like I come across a lot as a lender with investment properties. The first thing is qualifying. A lot of people, you know, they have a primary residence, they have a mortgage, they're looking to purchase an investment property. And the thought of having to qualify for 2 mortgages is a lot. So something that's really cool that we're able to do is we are able to offset the mortgage payment with an investment property with something that's called a rent schedule. What that is basically an appraiser will go out, he will, you know, kind of do an average market rent analysis, give us an estimated monthly rent amount, and we can take that and use 75% of it to offset that new investment property payment. So it's a lot easier to qualify than people think. The second thing are down payment options. So I just put together just a pretty general, you know, investment property quote based on rates today, 20% down. 20% down is kind of just the industry standard requirement for an investment property. Something that First Colony is going to be rolling out in 2022, next year, can't believe we're already there, are 10% down and 15% down investment property options. So we are super excited about these. The interest rates are going to be super competitive, and there's also no mortgage insurance with these. So that monthly payment is going to be really low. So they're not finalized yet, so I can't give a ton more information about them. But, you know, a lot of people, when they're going, how do I get this down?
You should be able to scroll.
Oh, so there's a lot of people that are excited about these because, you know, someone that's planning on purchasing an investment property with 20% down are now looking to purchase 2 with 10% down. They're going to cash flow every month on each of those and really use these lower down payment options to build their real estate portfolio. So we're super excited about them. As soon as we have more information, we're going to be blasting it out to everyone. So just watch for that. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, pull me aside after, let's talk, send me an email, call me. You know, we want to help be a part of building your clients and you guys' real estate portfolio. So I'll let Keagan take it.
Does that 10% apply for not just, you know, edge stuff? Does it apply for, okay.
Yeah.
No, it's only Edge, Brody. Only Edge Homes. Okay. All right. Thank you, Ellie. try and get this shared.
Sharing. So they should be able to.
They should see this. Thank you. This is my tech friend who knows a lot more about this than I do. Oh, go for it.
On the table, about $100,000 worth of equity on, so it's not very HELOC. So they would use that HELOC as part of that 10% cash down payment.
Yes. And that's something that's gonna kind of segue perfectly.
I don't know if it's gonna segue 100%, because there's a little more to it. See, if she wants to, the property, I guess, can use the HELOC on as the rental, if he wants to actually upgrade itself into an nicer home.
Yeah.
So that's where I don't know if there's more tricky.
No, yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, especially if he's buying that new one as a primary. Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Do the HELOC funds have to be seasoned for a certain number of months?
Sorry. What?
Do the HELOC funds have to be seasoned in your bank account?
No. Yeah, those are totally assets that can be used without any issues. Yeah. This is
Cool.
really going right.
Yeah, this is like, it's almost like I set you guys up for this or something. You know, I'll get you that $20 when we're done. But yeah, go ahead, Boo. Okay. So what I'm going to talk about is something called velocity banking. Some of you may have heard of it, some of you have not. This is something that I have learned about and have started putting into practice. And I think that it is, as funny as it may sound, it sounds like a conspiracy theory, like what they don't want you to know. But that's kind of how I feel about it. So essentially the gist of velocity, let me go to the next slide. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna kind of break it down to 3 parts. We'll talk about what it is, like how it's leveraged, how it works, and then where you can start and start doing it on your own. The whole purpose of velocity banking is to pay off debts faster, leveraging other debts. Sounds scary, but if you do it responsibly, it can be huge. So there's 3 main points that I want to hit on. You have to be very attentive to your finances. If you don't know how much is coming in and how much is going out each month, this is not for you. If you want to learn how to do that, great. Then you can start applying these things. If I just want to make sure it's very clear. If you're not aware of your finances, it won't work for you. Second thing is you do need to make more money than you spend each month. So if you have savings that you're putting in every month, great. If you're right on the limit, maybe pulling back some of those expenses, like don't eat out as much, or maybe less vacation or something like that, to make sure that you have that threshold. And then the number one thing for this specific topic I'm talking about today is you do need to own a home, because we're going to be talking about leveraging equity to pay off your property faster or acquire other properties. And I didn't catch your name, sorry, with the sushi.
What's up? Hi, what can I do for you?
What was your name again?
My name is Connor.
Connor. Okay, cool. Thanks. Like Connor was asking about. So how this works is through something called a HELOC. A HELOC, quite simply, it's a home equity line of credit. What it is if you have equity in your home, a credit union will allow you to pull a loan against that equity. So for example, let's say you have a property that's worth that you bought for 400, say it's been a year or 2 years or whatever it is, and now it's worth 500,000. You now have a gap of 100,000 in equity, okay? The reason that I think this is such a huge deal, especially in Utah, especially where we're at today, I think everybody in this room is aware of how much equity people have in their homes. You can have all the equity in the world, but it doesn't mean anything until you start learning how to leverage it. If the market were to crash, you would not have equity in your home. You'd not have access to this money. How a HELOC works is, like I said, you pull the money out against the equity. If the market crashes, you still have a HELOC. The way a HELOC works is unless you have pulled money out, you don't make a payment on it. For lack of a better term, the way I view it is free money. It's money that you can pull, leveraging the market to your advantage. Another reason why I think that's so huge is because you've probably heard so many people complaining about the market, like, man, these prices are so high, I'm getting priced out, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you have a home, you are able to leverage the market to your advantage and acquire more properties or pay off your own. Talking about some pros and cons with HELOCs. So pros, like I said, it's essentially free money. You have a low introductory rate. So it starts you off at 1.99 for 6 months. And then after it goes into what's called a variable rate. So I'll talk more about that in a second. And then the last pro is it's a two-way loan. Who here has a mortgage that they pay right now? Awesome. When you pay your mortgage, you are only paying into it. You cannot pull money out of it. It's a one-way street. With HELOCs, it's a two-way street. You can pull money out, you can pay money back and forth. Moving into the cons, again, variable rate. this can scare people. Your mortgage is a fixed rate. So if you're at 2.75, you're always gonna be at 2.75. A HELOC's rate can change depending on the market. So the way that I look at this is when we look at Utah's market specifically, it's been pretty strong for as long as, I mean, everybody's been alive, except for 08, right? Everybody knows about 08. But for the most part, it's been a good market to be in. I'm not going to go too much into the weeds on the specifics on this because it'll get boring. But if any of you have specific questions, I'll happily talk to you about it afterwards. Again, like I said in the first slide, if you're not managing your finances properly, it can be risky. But then the biggest thing is with payments on a HELOC, it is an interest-only payment. So I'll talk about that more right now. So we're going to talk about what the true cost of a mortgage is. I'm going to ask for a volunteer. I'm going to be asking some personal questions about your mortgage, your finances. If you're not comfortable sharing that information, you don't have to. But is there anybody that would be willing to let me poke some questions?
Let's do it.
Okay. Connor, so you have a home right now.
I do.
Okay, let's start with the rate. Oh, and I need to stop sharing this real quick. Okay. Okay, let's start with your rate. What is the rate on your current residence?
2.875.
That's a great rate. 2.875. Okay. How much do you owe on your property?
$207,432 and some odd cents.
Okay. Pretty impressive that you know that part. Okay. Okay. Okay, and I don't need an exact answer, just ballpark. What do you think this residence is worth?
273.
Okay, 273. So roughly just under 70K in equity is about what you have in your property. Is that fair to say?
Most make sure yours is 80% on the value and 85%.
Right. But the actual equity you have. Okay, great. So, and if, just so you guys know, I'm not going to get super into the specifics on HELOCs, but Connor makes a good point. But again, we'll talk about that more later. It's going to go 203 and then 273. Right? Or was it 207?
Sorry, what was the question?
How much do you owe? Was it 207?
207.
Okay, 207, 273. Okay. I have this amortization calculator I'm going to pull up. So all these numbers I'm going to be running through, they're arbitrary. So we can get, again, very much into the weeds of how an amortization schedule works, how it all breaks down. But for the purpose of this, it's just the basics, going over it. And again, if you have more questions afterwards, we can get more into the weeds. So if I calculate this.
Oh, let's see what the mortgage was for. At least how much you left.
What do you mean? No, you have a mortgage on a residence, right?
It didn't start at 207, so we're trying to get accurate numbers.
Oh, yeah, sorry, thank you. What is your mortgage at?
What was my mortgage, like, what it started at?
Yeah.
208, 2085.
Oh, okay. So this calculator, these aren't always 100% accurate, but it should be close enough. Does that payment seem close for principal and interest? You're just probably a little bit higher because you have escrow that's also in your account. Okay. So again, highly advise you guys to all run your own numbers on this and you can get more specific. But so 862 is our monthly payment. You have a 2.875 interest rate. So let's break this down. So this is showing, if I show it just for 1 month, your principal payment is I'm gonna round up to 365 just to keep numbers whole. And then your interest is 498. I'll round that one down. Okay. Connor, do you have a calculator?
No.
Okay. Or a calculator on your phone, I mean. Okay, thanks, Ty. All right. So I wanted you to take this number, Ty, and multiply it by 12. So this is our 1 month payment. We're going to see what payments are broken down by for 1 year and 3 years. So this number times 12, 365.
365 times 12, okay, 4380.
4380. And then multiply that number by 3. So we'll get a 3 years principal.
140.
13,140. Okay, let's start with 498. Multiply that by 12.
That's 5976.
And then multiply that number by 3.
17928.
17,928. Okay, awesome. So the purpose of this illustration is to show over 3 years how much you pay in interest versus how much you pay on principal on your mortgage, right? So the way that, an easy way to look at it is for you to get $13,000 off your property, it's gonna cost you almost $18,000 to pay it off in interest. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions on that? Okay, so let's go back to your interest rate. Connor, you're paying $498 in interest and your principal is $365. What's your interest rate?
2.87.
You sure? What is, Tyler, what is 498 divided by 365?
1.364.
So 100,
It's amortized at the beginning of the month. It's a much higher rate than it is if it's amortized at the end of the month.
136% is really what your interest rate is. Why do banks do this? Banks know that in the first 3 years, you're more than likely going to refinance on your home. So this is called front-loading interest. So this is where velocity banking steps in. So I'm going to erase some of this. Let's take a HELOC. So we said ballpark, you have about 70,000 of equity in your home. When you go to get a HELOC out, they usually are not going to give you, like Connor was saying, the full 100%. They're more realistically going to give you like 50%. Okay. So let's take, if you have 70K in equity, and then they give you your HELOC, we'll put 35,000. We'll just cut it in half to be conservative. Let's calculate the rates on a HELOC. So Tyler, I'm going to keep using you. How a HELOC works is this is simple interest versus amortized. So if I take 35,000, actually, no, we're going to go, so you have a $35,000 HELOC. I forgot one step. You never want to take out the full amount because it hits your credit. You usually want to stay half or under. So let's just go to keep numbers the same. 13,000 is what you're going to put towards the balance on your home. And I'll talk more about this in a sec. So 13,000, let's multiply this by 0.02. That's your introductory rate. And again, 260. Okay. That number is over the course of a year. So let's take that number and divide it by 12. $21.66. What was the first number again?
260.
So multiply that by 3.
780.
780. The way that the key to velocity banking is leveraging a HELOC to pay down chunks of principal on your mortgage, and then you pay the HELOC as you go. So to get to this point on your mortgage, you can either pay about 18 grand in interest or leverage a HELOC and pay a little under 800 bucks. Does that make sense to everybody? Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, so I'm going to go in, again, high level of how to leverage this, okay? So what I call the HELOC debt bucket, let me switch this. This is the process, generally how it works. So I'm sure everyone here has a checking account. They have credit cards, savings accounts. How you work with the HELOC is you make that your new checking account. So we talked about 13K is what you start with. That's the loan we're going to be taking. Back to slide number 1, you need to know your finances. So let's say you make, I don't know, let's say you make $5 grand a month, okay? And let's say your expenses are 3,500 bucks. This is where you guys need to know your own stuff. You need to go run the numbers on your own. So this would mean you have a $1,500 surplus on a monthly basis. What you do with your HELOC, you take that 13K, put it directly towards the principal on your home. So your loan on the HELOC is going to start you right here, 13K. And then what you do is when you get your paychecks, 5 grand, you're going to put it directly in the HELOC to pay that off. So now we're down to 8 grand. Okay. Then over the course of the month, you're spending 3,500 bucks. So this brings you up to 11,500. Next month, you do it again, take it down 5K. You're at 6,500 bucks. Over the course of the month, another 3,500, now 10,000. Okay, and you keep repeating this process over and over. As you're going through this, you eventually are going to pay off that HELOC. What do you do? Rinse, repeat, recycle, start over. Down, 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 down. If you're Man, let me run the math on this real quick. So like a little under 10 months, probably 9 months, it would take you to pay off this 13K on your HELOC. So every 9 months, you're leveraging this equity to pay $13,000 towards your mortgage. You owed, it was 207, Connor? Okay. So 207 divided by 13,000. Let me just do this math real quick. Okay, so it would take you, if it like these arbitrary numbers, just under, if you follow this process, if these were your exact numbers, 12 years to pay off your mortgage. You'd be debt free and you'd save a ton of money on interest. Does anybody have any questions about this part? Is it clear? Okay, so we're saving you 18 years on paying your mortgage. So with velocity banking, you can either pay off your primary mortgage a lot faster, or you can use it to acquire multiple properties. So, sweet. Yeah, you can do that too. It's awesome. So this is where I make my money on this. Velocity banking, I don't make any money off you guys, but this is where, if you guys want to buy a home with me, this is where it's worth it. I know, I'm sneaky like that.
This time we're really here.
Yeah. But, so I'm gonna draw a timeline for you guys. Who here is like bought with Edge Homes or is familiar with Edge Homes? Okay, great. So the biggest thing with the market right now in new construction is there's a lot of construction companies that have been canceling people's contracts. They've been raising prices on buyers. It's been not ideal. Edge does not cancel contracts or raise prices on buyers. So I'm using this number as a condo. So now I'm going to talk more about that investment route of how to leverage this equity. So $400,000 is high for a condo, but I like to keep my numbers conservative as possible. So in 2021, we had an increase of home values of 30%, very abnormal. Average is around usually 5 to 10 roughly. The past 5 years have been like 8 to 12 in that range. So what I did, I just cut that in the middle and said 10%. If everything stays the same, you got 10% equity gains on your home. So you start day one with a $400,000 property, right? This is a condo. Your initial investment with Edge is $1,500. That's all you pay till it closes. We're about 9 to 11 months on a build. So just to keep numbers simple, rounding up to a year, after 1 year, your property would be worth $440. So you just gained $40,000 of equity on an initial $1,500 investment, just short of a $3,000 return on your investment. Other than like Bitcoin or Tesla on a good week, has anybody heard of a return like that? This is happening on a daily basis. The point of me bringing this up. So coming to the point of you actually closing, this is where Ellie comes in. If you do that 10% down program, right? So $400,000, you have a $40,000 down payment. Your place is worth $440,000. So now you have a property that you owe a mortgage of, or sorry, the value of it, oh my gosh, why can't I talk? You owe $360,000 on it. The value, I'm gonna put it at $430,000 for when you close, just because for timeline's sake. It's worth $430,000 when you close, which means you just got $90,000 of equity by the time you moved in. Now, with builds, the market takes a second to catch up. So I wait. My math is wrong. 70K, sorry. I put 90 on it. Oh, because I'll go into month 15, that's why. 70K in equity, right? And then the thing with new builds is you have to wait a few months for it to catch up with the rest of the market. But once you hit that 6-month mark after moving in, you HELOC the property, do a cash out refi with Ellie. I'm big on the HELOCs, and then you just rinse, recycle, repeat with these properties. So you're now leveraging this money that costed you this many dollars to do this process again and again and again. This is how you generate true wealth, in my opinion. AJ just walked in. He said something I really like. He likes real estate because it's real. It's the best investment because it's tangible. You can taste it, you can look at it, right? So how do you get started? So for the HELOC side, you get started with the credit union. I have a great contact in Mountain America. She's happy to do HELOCs. It's one of your buyers. Then you're gonna decide your route. Do I want to pay down my current residence or do I want to acquire more? If you don't have a primary residence, I'd suggest getting one first. Yeah, go
So
ahead.
do you have to disclose that when they're setting you up with a HELOC? Okay.
No, they don't care.
I mean, it's up to you what you do with the.
Yeah, like Connor said, you had your buyer pay off cars with it. That's pretty common. Acquiring properties, the question asked to Ellie. So it's money you have free reign of what you want to do with it. Very true. Because your car payments, let's say they're $500 a piece. A HELOC payment on that is maybe 200 for both of them.
Confirm this, if you see 2 car payments at 500 apiece, you're more concerned with that, than you were $12,000 on the month.
Yeah, well, it's gonna, hit you a lot harder for sure.
So even though it's the same $12,000, you're more concerned with 2 $500 payments, it's just overall okay.
Absolutely. Thank you for the input. But yeah, and the last step is you invest. So you just pick which route you want to take. If you want to build with Edge, awesome. If you want to build elsewhere, there's plenty of realtors in here that can help you out. I think Edge is the best route, unbiased, but
That is the best picture.
I almost wore that same shirt today too. And then I remember
I
I should have, like the exact same haircut and everything, you know. Okay, so the last step, if each of you brings 2 friends and then they each get 2 friends underneath them, that's how you make the most money. And I have some essential oils outside. You guys are welcome to try out. But no, so that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for coming. We have food in the back provided by Ellie with some crumble cookies as drinks as well. Appreciate your time. If you guys have any questions, we're going to kind of hang out for a minute and we're happy to answer. So. Oh, we need to hand out the tickets. Will you hand those out? Okay. All right, all you people on Zoom, all 300 people on Zoom right now, thank you for attending. We appreciate you. Oh, no, you guys are great. You guys are great. Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay, thanks, you guys. Oh, you have a question? Go ahead.
Do you want me to say it or type it?
I can hear you.
So you said that with the first example, you would save like 18 years on a 30-year mortgage, right?
Correct.
So you're taking $1,500 a month that you were saving and putting that extra to the mortgage, right? Do you know how many years would that save if I just put that $1,500 every month, that I was saving to just as an extra payment on my mortgage?
Yeah, so it's a similar process. It would still take longer because when you do that chunk payment at the beginning, it reduces your interests.
Right.
Basically fast forwards you, right? So it would be comparable. Like if you did the $1,500, I think we calculated like, was it 12 years? Maybe you might be like 16, but so that's a great option too. I just like the HELOC method because like I said, I feel like you're leveraging free money. That's a solid question.
Okay. Yeah, just curious.
Yeah. Any other questions on Zoom? Okay, I have this recorded. So if any of you here want to rewatch it, or if anybody here, I'll get it sent out to you. Oh, and then, yeah, you guys are good on Zoom. So thank you for attending. We'll talk to y'all soon.